Okay, men should not be alone. Okay, in society, they always play it like women are the ones who crave marriage, crave relationship, crave company, and men, we're the loners. We don't like to talk. We don't like commitment. We don't like relationships. And I think actually, by our nature, it's the complete opposite. First of all, we do better in marriages, in relationships. Now, I don't mean a bad marriage. That doesn't work best for anybody. But for us, if we want to excel in our career, excel in our personal life, it's best for us to have a significant other. And us having a partner is way more important than us having a group of friends. Personally, my wife at this point in my life is my best friend. Okay, yesterday we did get into it about something that I felt like was stupid. And I did perhaps need a group of friends to probably talk that over to, but I don't. So I listen to podcasts. But we become our best selves when we are in a relationship. See, our spouse is supposed to mirror ourselves. So we may go, around or go through life with these bad traits, bad habits, and it's not until we are mirrored by our spouse and our wife tell us, you shouldn't do this, don't do that, that's nerve-wracking, that's annoying, that's stupid, it's then brought to our attention for us to change. Now, we are to do that to our wives too, but men, we do tend to hold on to stupid habits that we need a mature woman to help point this out for us. It's also, noted that men tend to survive longer or live longer if they do have a wife, probably because we don't take care of ourselves, we don't go to the doctor. But besides that thing, I think we crave conversation. Like I said, it's perception that women talk and men don't like to talk. But if we have a woman that we can talk to, that's only going to benefit us better. Because, see, us talking to fellow guys is going to be a skewed conversation. We're not going to, talk about any deep topics. Avoid anything that makes us go into self introspection. In turn, with our wives or our girlfriends, we have no choice but to face these things. And who wants to get to the end of their life and don't have a spouse? Now, they say it's sadder for a woman to be alone or be an old cat lady, but it's even sadder for a man to be alone. We're just going to sit there in a nasty house and just like die. Because if you notice, if a couple get a divorce, men are most likely to get remarried after a divorce, unlike women. Because, all the women do crave marriage. They have girlfriends, they have children, whereas when we get divorced, we don't have anybody. So we crave that partnership, so we are more prone to jump into a marriage right after the next. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't jump into anything just because we're afraid to be alone. But point being, men are not designed to be by themselves. Now let's switch over to why men tend to abuse alcohol, tend to abuse substances, tend to abuse porn. Now, in myself personally, this channel here is dedicated for people who are trying to quit weed. I don't have any urges right now in my journey of weed sobriety, but when a thought comes across of me going on a solo trip or being alone, I notice that's when I have the highest probability of wanting to relapse or wanting to smoke weed or wanting to watch porn. So I've realized, it's probably not safe for us to be alone. We actually don't care to be alone in our thoughts. Women are more used to this thinking and self introspection, and when us as men, we're so used to putting our feelings on the back burner, which I think that's kind of out of our function. We tend to run away from those thoughts, so we tend to abuse alcohol, abuse drugs to kind of lift our mind off such things. Now, it's good for us to have friends because some people say, even in marriage, you should have, friends that you can, retreat to outside of your marriage. I agree and sort of disagree with that. It also depends on what type of friends you have. They say married women shouldn't be friends with single women, and I think married men shouldn't be friends with single men. Now, I say most, all of my friends now are either divorced or not married, and I don't tend to hang out with other men outside of my marriage. Is that great? Is that the best? I mean, it's debatable. For me at this point, I say yes because my friends are not married. They don't understand the different gripes, different things that I am thinking, and they're probably not going to give us the best advice for what we're going through. You know, if it is a fellow man that's in a good marriage, not a bad. You don't have a friend that's in a bad marriage. But if they're in a good marriage or comparable union, then we're going to bounce off each other with ideas, with thoughts, different things that we're going through in each of our marriages, which in turn make us be better men and go back to our relationships with a better outlook. If we don't have that, it's best to just talk things through with your wife versus going to your single friends. I mentioned porn. Porn is a real big issue, and we tend to abuse porn when we are alone. I'm to a point now to where I don't want to do things in life that I can't do in front of people. Not saying I should fart or burp or like be naked in front of somebody, but as far as things like drinking or smoking or watching pornography, if there is shame attached to these things, it's probably something that we should not be doing. Now, porn is kind of a double-edged sword because not only do we tend to abuse porn when we are alone or not in relationships, in some cases we abuse porn even in a relationship because that's we've came or gotten so used to watching it to we still prefer that over actual sex. But not only do we do this thing or abuse it when we are alone, if we're not married or not on the path of getting married, it may actually prevent us from getting married. I think a problem with the Gen Z movement and their own after, they have a high dependence on porn. So it's easier to just, watch porn, get on Discord, get on TikTok, and just avoid any type of outside relationship because that's much harder. Because being honest, relationships are great, they are good, but they do take more work than just turning on your favorite porn star and jacking off. So it really sends us into this dark spiral of being alone, and it keeps us in this alone space. So a lot of things that are triggered by being alone can really destroy us in the long run. And back to porn, like it's funny. I remember seeing a meme years ago on how every man feels after he relieves himself, and it's kind of like immediate, like, eh, eh, uh. I think most men feel that way. So if that's the case, maybe it's something that inherently we know that we should not be doing. And again, we tend to abuse these things when we are alone. And I mean, not only alone in life, but just alone in the house. Like I said, the idea of me going on a 2 day trip by myself, it's nice to have my thoughts, but it's a fear that, I might want to smoke some weed. I might want to watch some adult content. Not so much drink, because I still do drink, but I'm a social drinker. I don't like to drink when I'm not on a date with my wife. I don't like just being at home by myself drinking. That's sad. So I think as men, we should start to observe ourselves when we are alone, not only alone in life, but just alone in environments, and see how we are reacting or how we are possibly destroying ourselves. Okay, so apparently I was talking and I ran out of recording space, but I was finishing up. So I was saying just, be aware of your thoughts when you are alone. And so I was just finishing up. Be aware of your thoughts when you are alone, and just make sure you're not leading yourself into self-destructive habits, because we as men, we can take it too far sometimes. And like I said, it's good to have some alone time, meditating your thoughts, but realize we're meant to be around people. We're meant to be in relationships most importantly, and we can't go through life as a loner. So, yeah.